I think what I'm going to do so that we're not here all day, let's turn off the lamp, is I'm going to do a basic swatch and highlight of the magnetic crystals on all of the nails so that we can see the color. And then I'll play around with the effects, the cat eye effects on another nail. So I'm just going to do the traditional coming in from each side. Am I using the right side? So these are the colors. They are absolutely stunning. I love the cat eye effect that I got. And actually, hold that thought. Have you guys noticed an increase lately in, what are they called? Add-ons to your browsers automatically installing themselves? I have a Mac computer, and every so often my Safari app will quit and I'll notice an app launching itself that I then have to quit and then go into my applications to delete. And I don't think they're necessarily malicious beyond the fact that they're sharing information that I don't want to be shared. So then all of a sudden my Safari crashes. I have to go uninstall an application that I didn't want to install, and I lose whatever I was doing. But yeah, it's been happening repeatedly for the past few months, and it's starting to really get on my nerves. But anyway, I digress. These are the colors. They're absolutely stunning, from red to pink in rainbow order. On their own, I didn't necessarily see how vivid the colors are, but when you put them side by side, you can definitely see them absolutely. I think they almost do look better over the white versus over the black, but it depends on what look you're going for. And you can, of course, layer them on top of each other, which I'll be doing in a little bit. I just want to get through all the swatching first, and then I'll circle back around to playing around with creating different patterns with the cat eye gels. So I'm going to swap this set out and swap in another set so I can swatch the other colors, and I'll be back. All right, so these are the syrup colors. We're going to get into swatching them just like I did before, but this time I'm just going to do it on my jelly tips. I'm not going to use any white or black in the background because we want to see their pure colors and how they overlay. So as before, I'm going to move these aside. I'm going to go one by one, and we're just going to have some more swatching fun. I love these colors. Even before swatching them, I love how they look. So let's see. This looks more pink than red. It is pink. Do I have a red? Or is it just two different shades of pink? I don't know. We'll see. So they're actually quite pastel-y, or at least this one is, which I quite like. Because usually the jelly colors or the syrup colors are really bright and neon, or at least the ones that I've been using. I'm going to go through and I'm going to do one coat of each as I did with the last set, or rather 2 coats of each as I did with the last set. I'm only showing one, but I did in fact do 2 coats of each. And we're going to see how they layer. All right, so these are the syrup gels, and actually they're a lot more opaque than I expect them to be. Maybe I'm confused by what syrup gel means. Maybe it's just the consistency of the formula and not the pigmentation, or the, not really the pigmentation, but the opacity, I should say. I did put a top coat on it, but I'm using a Madame Gel wipe top coat, not a no wipe top coat, and I don't feel like it dries as glossy as their no wipe. Or maybe I'm just using a dirty towel, and that's why. It's because that's a lot better. But anyway, I think the pink is the red and the red is the pink, so I'm just going to swap them around because that seems a little bit more accurate. So these are the syrup colors. With the tiny, the Korean gels, you always get these placards that you can display your swatches on. So I'm going to affix the swatches to the appropriate cards, and then I will be back and we will move on to the next swatch parade. All right, so I don't know how long these are going to actually stay on because the nails that I chose to use are wider than the available space, but we'll see if we can keep it on there for a while. These are the cards, these are the swatches, and I will put them with the polishes. So now moving on, I do want to refill my DGel canister. So that is, where did I put? Here it is. Reaching. If you watched the last video where I got a refill, I tried to put, it doesn't seem like it's all that much product in here, but there is quite a lot. So I thought I had room to put the whole thing in here, and I didn't, and I overfilled it. And let's see if we can not do that this time. But this is the canister. 1 second, I think it pulled out. Let me put on gloves. I think a portion of the jar came out that's not supposed to come out. So this part is supposed to stay in. I think. Am I delusional? No, that goes down there. Okay. Oops. Oops. This is just some alcohol. So I'm not going to put the whole thing in this time, because that would be foolhardy to repeat the same mistake twice. I still feel like there's another piece that's supposed to be in here. Did I do something wrong? Because it feels like there's never been any, well, maybe not. Let's keep going, shall we? If I had to buy a new pump, I had to buy a new pump. That would suck, but I think that's all I'm going to put in this time. Hopefully I didn't mess up the pump. And let's see if this works, shall we? Yay, gel. Okay, so I'm gonna put the rest away. I've got a second one for when I run out of this one. I think I'm just going to wipe down because it's covered in gel. All right, so moving on to the next swatch party event. Let me do some minor cleanup to my right. I want to pull out the silver that I have so that we can compare the antique. And for this, I'm just going to use my regular swatch sticks. And I'm gonna swatch them all next to each other. So I already opened up the antique, or vintage rather. And that's what it looks like. If we open up the silver right next to it, they do look quite similar. The vintage is a little bit more yellowish in tone, but won't really be able to tell until we put them next to each other. So let's cover that up for now, and we'll go and we'll open up my heart skipped a beat, the rose and the gold. So they do come foil wrapped. They are a bit of a pain to unwrap. So usually I go in with my cuticle nippers, and I try to just cut it along the edge without digging into it, but I'm not always that successful. And then I just use tweezers to pull it up and apart and away. All right, so the gold and the rose gold, and then the vintage. And under the light, they look exactly the same. I'm not gonna lie. I know that they're not. You do need to stir the colors, and I'm going to choose 3 separate sticks to do so. These are miniature Q-tips. So I'm just gonna give this a stir. and you can see that gold right away come to the surface. Don't want to agitate it too heavily. You don't want to create air bubbles, but you do want to get that color mixed well. And you want to do this every single time that you use it. Now with the rose gold. And now with the vintage, which I did stir before, but I'm going to stir it again. So now they do look quite different from one another. Let's not spill them into one another. And I'm going to give the silver a little stir to see if we can see a difference between the silver and the vintage. Yeah, a little bit, but I'm still anxious to get it on the nail and see it side by side. So we're going to do that. And I'm going to take some alcohol again on my fingers to wipe off the gel. And I'm going to use my striping brush. I'm going to go in first with the silver, or the antique rather. Vintage? Why do I keep saying antique? I guess antique and vintage are pretty much the same thing. All right, I'm gonna let that pigment settle a little bit. I do want to go in with a little bit of isopropyl alcohol to wipe along the edge. Now with all Madame Glam pigments, or I should say gel paints, you don't need to top coat over them because they dry on tacky. But if you really wanted to shine, I would advise still top coating. I've got gel all over my hands and now I'm getting it all over the stick. I'm going to flash cure this and move on to the next color. All right, moving on to the silver, which I'm going to lay right next to vintage, minus the cat hair. All right, so I am seeing a difference, but I would say that side by side, it's very difficult even to see that difference. There is the traditional yellow cast with the vintage. Am I saying vintage again and it's antique? Where's the cap? No, it's vintage. And the silver is more true silver with a blue cast. So you've got your warm and your cold tonalities. All right, I'm not going to cure that because I'm going to go on the other side with the rose gold. I don't remember, but I think I saw that these are limited edition. I'm not sure. There's definitely something that I was shopping for that was limited edition, but I don't remember if it was this or if I was just like so hyped to get it that I jumped on it before they sold out, temporarily or permanently. But I would say if you've been waiting for these chromatic pigments, that you definitely get them before they're gone, whether that's going to be a permanent thing or temporary. I think I'm just going to finish this nail on this side with the rose gold, and I'll do the regular gold on the other side. Alright, so apparently I never ended this video. There is no outro, it just ends. I got a phone call from my sister, as usually happens, and I got distracted and I just never came back to finish it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm finishing up with a top coat of the chrome colors. I'm aware that under the camera lights they do look very similar, but in person they are quite different. And they're lovely. I love all of them, and I'm going to find many, many, many uses for them. So if you like this video, please give me a like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.